morning. This is a little overview of how to create exams or quizzes in Blackboard. Hope it helps you. Okay, so once you're in Blackboard, you need to go to Course Tools. And then over here, you're going to look for Test, Surveys, and Polls. And you could all create them as tests. You just have to call them differently, whether you're doing a quiz or whether you're doing a test. But the idea is how they were going to be listed on your grades. Okay, so let's start with test. And I have a whole bunch that I have already created. So I'm just going to show you how to create a new one. So let's see. So we're going to go into build test. And over here you could put the name that you want. So let's call it trial 1, for example. If you want to have descriptions, if you want to indicate what chapters you're going to cover or so on and so forth. And then over here instructions if you want to be more detailed about it. Then once you provide that information, you could click submit. So now this is basically your canvas, and then over here you could create a whole bunch of different questions that you can. So when you go into create the questions, these are all the different questions that you could enter. So notice that you have a whole bunch of varieties. The ones that I have usually used for quizzes are usually multiple choice, if that's your possibility. Multiple answer if you have multiple choices, true and false, and ordering. So basically you just any of this, you just provide the information, select the right answer, and so on and so forth. The one that I use for exams, it's called file response. So in that one, basically you provide a question, and then the student is required to provide you with a file, whether it's a PDF or a picture, and they have to provide that as your response. Okay, so let me show you how that one works. So notice that the title, I usually do not do title. I just simply enter the information over here. So either if you have a open-ended question, you could type it all the way over here. So for example, this is problem 1, so on and so forth, and you could provide the description. If you have the problem in a PDF or in a Word document, and instead of typing it, you want to do it that way, you could simply attach it as a document, and then you browse. For example, let's see, I don't know, let me see, I'm not going to touch that one, and then you submit it. And then the student will be able to open that particular document if that's what you want them to do. You could also add formulas, you could add videos, or you could add pictures, and this is basically a different formatting of all the things that you could do. And then this is a little bit more in detail if you want to add rubrics. I usually don't go through adding rubrics or categories. That is if you want to go like really in depth into here. And then let's see, I said submit. So submit if you want to just do this type of question, and then that's it. If not, you could just create another question if that question is the same type as the one that you're doing right now. So let's just do submit. Okay. And then let me add another question. Let's see, a true and false, so that you could see how it works. So let's see, true and false. Once again, you could ask, so you could just write whatever you want. So is this true? And then you provide whether it's true or false. And then once again, you submit. And you could do as many questions as you would like in that particular way. So let's assume that we have already successfully created your exam or your quiz. And now let me show you how you're going to add it into your particular class. Okay, so notice for me, I have a section that is called reading quizzes. So if you do not have one, simply add a content area. So let's see, I call exams, and click on available, make sure that it's clicked so everybody could have access to it. Then you submit, and notice that now I have a new section for exams. So if I click here, then what you want to do is you want to go into assessments, and then that means that you're going to insert an assessment. So let's see, you go to test, and then you're going to select the one that I have. So we created trial 1, so notice that's the one that I created, and then I click submit. This is the description of how you want the quiz to be done. For example, you want to make sure that it's available to the students so they could actually see it. If you want, you could create an announcement. This will go only into announcements in Blackboard, but it will not send an email. In my case, I don't allow them to do multiple attempts. I do forced completion, meaning that once they start, they must finish in one sitting. I set a timer. So let's see, you do, if it's a quiz, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So let's see, you could do 30 minutes. And then you want to make sure that this is on to ensure that it's automatically saved by Blackboard, and it's submitted for them. Over here, you could display where you want it to display it and until when. So if, for example, if you want it to display until now, so you don't need to fill this out. But if you want to schedule it so that it starts next week, so then you select the time and the date that you would like to be displayed until, and the same thing with from and until. Go down a little bit. Over here, this is very useful if you have people with disabilities. So you will click on the person, and let's see, you know, a particular person, and if, for example, the restriction was the disability accommodation is that they have to do 1.5 times. So instead of 30 minutes, you will add, for example, 45 instead. You could also change their availability if that is something that they require. But besides that, that's usually the accommodation that I provide. I also click due date so that it shows in their calendar that it has to be completed. And it also makes sure that they need to complete it by that particular time. So I usually do due date and this, and I select this date exactly to be the same one that you had back here, so that this two will match, the 2 dates and the 2 times will match. Okay, I usually take this away to ensure that the students are not able to go back, or you could go back if you want them to see the information. You could also make sure that they could get feedback if you want them to get feedback. So it all depends how you're doing your quizzes. Okay, so now this part is the interesting one. If you, let's see, you're providing with a lot of questions, and you want to make sure that they are not able to go back. They answer one question and they go to the next, and they're not able to go back. You want to make sure that you click one at a time. So for example, the one that I created only has 2 questions. But if you have, let's see, 15 or 20, and you don't want them to go back, so that you ask them to show one at a time, and then you prohibit it from backtracking. This is very useful, especially if you're doing the same quiz to a lot of students, so that they don't have the possibility of cheating, or once they find out that they did something wrong, to go back. And then this is one of my favorite parts, is to random the questions. So once again, if you have a lot of questions, that ensures that 2 students do not get exactly the same quiz or the same exam. Once you submit, so now it shows up now over here. Oops. Now let me show you how the student will be able to see it. So when you click on it, this is instructions that the students will see. Notice that we set it up for 30 minutes. It will set automatically, and then once they do it, and so this is how they begin. Okay, so apparently I didn't set it up correctly. The due date, I set up a due date. So if you made a mistake like this, you could just simply right click on the exams, and then edit test options if you made a mistake like this. So apparently I click on the due date, yes, so that's why it doesn't let me do it. So this is how you could edit something. Okay, now let me go back, click on it. I'm gonna begin. And notice that in this case it gives me, once again, because I set it up to be one question at a time, so it gives me true. And then I go to the next question. And then notice once again, this is the one that you have to add a response. So notice that it shows you the document over here. So I open a random document that I had in my screen. So it should open some information that I had for some budgets. And this will have the description of your problem. And then the student will be able to, once they do the solution, they scan it or they take a picture or whatever the method you allow them to do. You could browse the computer. They could go and select the file. So this works also if you're doing, let's see, an X or any other file. So they could upload any of the files that you want. So let's see, I do this one. Once they upload it and they're happy with their information, then save and submit. And then you say okay. Okay, and then it's submitted. Now, how do you go back and grade or find the information that you have? So you go to your grade center. And then in this case, so notice that this one will be under trial over here. I was doing it as a test, so it doesn't show over here. But if it had been a student, it will show over here with a either a grade or a yellow button, I believe it is. So let me show you how you could go back. So this is a student that took a quiz before. So you simply click on the arrow and say view grade details. And then you want to say view attempts. And this will show you the quiz, for example. So in this case, notice that I have a lot of fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, whatever you write has to be exactly how they write it. But in many cases, that's not going to be the case. So now you have to manually go and find it. So notice that if the answer is correct, you will enter the number of points over here. So let's see, it will be a 10. So in this case, it wouldn't because it's not correct. And then you add as many points as you would like. And then you double check it. And if you're done with it, you just go save and next. And this will allow you to manually go and check all the grades of your students. You are also able to add feedback into here. So you could put any feedback that you would like so that the students will be able to get your notes. Okay. Okay. I am working on finding out how to do the assignments using the proctoring method from Blackboard. So once I'll find out how to properly do that, I'll get back to you. I hope that it helps you, and take care. Good luck next week.